Are you a fan of pro wrestling, comedy, and combat sports? Then we have the podcast for you because we cover that and much, much more.
Do you like to debate with your friends? Do we have the perfect segment for you? It's the 531, where we take any given subject, break it down to a top 5. From there, we debate it down to 3 and then into that number 1 spot.
If you want to get a hold of us, find us on our social medias. Search Working Fans Podcast on any major social media platform. And if you want to find the podcast, search for us on any major podcast platform, as well as YouTube.
Working Fans Podcast. We put in the work so you don't have to.
As always, we are brought to you by the Pro Wrestling Vault Volume 1, available at lancebychance.com, where you can also get Lance by Chance. And if you don't want to read something wrestling related, head over to amazon.com and pick up Super Vows by Kevin Kelton or his new book, Pas de Deux, Dance of Two. And we are brought to you by AO Money Meech, Camouflage, When the Deadbolt Breaks, Buzzard Canyon, the great people over at Connecticut People Records, our wrestling commentary home, New Heights Wrestling. And this week, we are talking a little Wrestlemania burnout, because coming off WrestleMania weekend, there were so many shows to watch. And then on top of that, like if you're podcasting, you're taking notes on it, and you got to watch these shows a couple times. And coming off this whole past week, getting wrestling podcasts together, but I've been looking for things to watch besides wrestling. And the first thing I discovered was the show Winning Time on HBO Max. I found out about it because of my work on the More Perfect Union podcast. It was on our rundown of things to watch. And this thing is amazing. It's the whole way it's shot, the music they choose, and just telling the Lakers story. It made me go out and get the book Showtime that the show is based on. And it's interesting to see how they tell the story, where certain facts are put in different places. Some things are changed around. Interesting show, even better book. And another thing I discovered because of the More Perfect Union was Moon Knight. I originally wouldn't have watched that on my own, but was it ever a crazy WrestleMania weekend, Randy? But I decided to check out the first episode, and Moon Knight, I've been struggling to enjoy because the guy has a personality disorder that he doesn't understand. So the way they're telling that visually throws you off a lot of the episode. But while the whole episode will throw me off, the endings to these shows really kind of make the episode. And I'm waiting for the drop in this show like WandaVision. When does the change happen? When does the show like fully become something I enjoy? Now, let us know in the comments what you're watching besides wrestling, because I need some recommendations. I mean, baseball is back, so I've been glad to watch some games. It's been a little hard to keep up with. I've tried out the Friday night baseball on Apple Plus, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, Dynamite's going to be huge tonight, Randy. And, you know, I've been taping mostly Red Sox and Mets games just because on Fubo TV, just getting a couple of the local teams, keeping up with it. And I'm also in a fantasy baseball league, so I'm checking that out. Now that I've talked about things that I'm watching, there's a couple things on deck, like the More Perfect Union. Once again, we mentioned West Side Story, and I was the only one that hadn't seen it. So I know the original and the remake are both on HBO Max. So I'm thinking of going on there and checking it out. And April 18th coming to HBO Max is The Batman. I've been waiting to see this, and it just seems like it's close enough to getting out of theaters. I almost might as well wait till HBO. And something that Mike Ladford has been busting my balls about at work is not seeing the Boondocks yet. So that is also on deck for me for what to watch next. So that's really all I had for you today. I wanted to get back to dropping the daily content. Like last week, we had the goal of reviewing WrestleMania weekend shows each day, but it was enough to catch up on my notes for Dynamite and a couple of the weekend shows to do my last regular episode in a while for Unscripted Violence. I will be popping back on there. It's just the time zone difference really kind of hit me, and I can put some of that extra energy and time that I'm going to have back into the show here. So we're just looking for what shows are you watching? What movies are interesting? Is there a funny video on YouTube we got to check out? Preferably not wrestling. Now, we will be getting back to talking about wrestling, but I just felt like this was an important subject to get into coming off WrestleMania weekend because we get so excited for all the dream matchups and all the different shows we can watch, but then we hit that problem of like, we've watched too much wrestling. Ballers, that's on HBO, right? Because I feel like I've seen a couple episodes of that. He plays like a football player's manager, right? And if that is on HBO, I'm going to have to check that out. The HBO Max streaming service, I've really been enjoying. I've debated getting Showtime just to watch Bellator and try and keep up with that. Yes, HBO, then I will be checking out Ballers, Randy. And HBO has all the DC stuff, which is interesting because Disney Plus has Marvel, and that's amazing. Disney Plus has Marvel, Star Wars, and that's quite the catalog. HBO has DC, and the DC animated stuff has tended to be better than the DC live action for the most part. And it's interesting that HBO has that collection. So I want to dig into the animated stuff more. I'm getting this chance to see the Batman in a couple days. So we have that ahead of us. But I'm going to get going for the day, guys. Gotta kind of just relax. And then tonight, gotta watch Dynamite, get back into the swing of actually doing wrestling related stuff. But thank you for sitting here and at least listening to me talk about WrestleMania Burnout. Let me know what books you guys are reading. Anything I can do to keep my mind off wrestling for a little bit. But I will talk to you later and have a good day.